Hey everybody, brand new purchase vlog time. Alien Anthology. I might not be able to actually show any clips. In fact, I'm not even going to try because I'm pretty sure that's just instantly going to get me blocked. So instead, I'm just going to talk about quickly the movies themselves and also this delightful little packaging that I got pretty cheap earlier today. So Alien, as we all know, of course, is the classic science fiction horror that kind of redefined the sci-fi horror genre in its own unique way. It's the haunted house in space, basically. At least the original is, and then from there the series began to drastically change, going from science fiction horror to action science fiction, and then 3 happened, and then 4 happened. And also Prometheus, but I don't know how many people actually count Prometheus. Anyway, I originally did not see Alien for many years. In fact, the very first movie I ever saw was Aliens. And so, naturally, Aliens is obviously my favorite. Alien does certainly stand up. There are certainly things or aspects about it that I'm not overly a big fan of. There is a bit too much of a slow pace, and there are just too many parts with the alien where nowadays it does just look like a guy in a very bulky suit that's very hard to move around in. And it's true, it was, hence the very limiting shots. And then with Aliens, they got it right where they hid them more in the dark, and they made the suits a lot more pliable so that people could move around in them, and they did a much better job of hiding them in the dark. And then 3 happened. I remember when I saw 3 when it came out on video that I liked it okay. I haven't watched it, of course, in a long time. Alien Resurrection, I liked at the time when I saw it. Of course, I was a high schooler, so I really didn't know any better. Nowadays, though, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's pretty damn stupid and silly. And then, of course, there's Prometheus, and well, if you want to know my thoughts on that, you can check out my original vlog that I did when I first watched it. The Alien Anthology Blu-ray set that I have here I actually got for just under $30, actually, and it contains all 4 of the original movies, along with an archive DVD or Blu-ray, which is obviously a collection of the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's also got little bits of art and such as decorations for all the individual movies. And then, of course, you have the movies themselves, which also have their own special features. Many of them include, of course, the original theatrical cut and, of course, a little bit of the special extended edition, like with Aliens, the slightly longer version that includes deleted scenes and such things like that that help flesh out the story a little bit more, or just show a little bit more of what they originally couldn't or didn't in the first movie. And the packaging in and of itself is pretty cool. My only real problem with it is that, you know, this kind of packaging, while nice and certainly fancy, is not very good for when you're actually wanting to watch the movie, because I could only imagine how much of a pain it is to safely try and keep these in good condition. Because I don't know how many copies of Aliens I've actually gone through at this point. I mean, my DVD and Blu-ray collection is pretty good, but at the same time, you eventually get to a point where they just no longer work. Like, I've actually had to get new copies of Die Hard because the Blu-ray just stopped working. Either because it just, maybe there was just something wrong with the disc, but it just wouldn't run anymore. Same thing happened with my copy of Aliens. It still runs properly, but the first half of the movie, the player just skips because the disc is so messed up. So you miss the opening, you miss the first big action scene, and then you just get the rest of the movie, which is a huge bummer for anybody who's a fan of Aliens. My original Alien copy, my original copy of Alien, I think, still runs just fine. So, I just don't care for the type of packaging where you really have to reach in and practically grab at the sides of the disc in order to pull it out of the sleeve. Having all the art and pieces in here, though, does look really nice and, and is really cool and everything to have, certainly as a collector. But in terms of, trying to keep your collection intact and still watchable, I imagine is not very good. I haven't watched the collection yet, but I am an Alien fan. So I think this was certainly a pretty damn good purchase and a good idea for a purchase. And it's going to look nice on the shelf. And I mean, I am a fan of the first two movies. The second one being my more preferred and favorite. The other two, I haven't watched in a number of years. Maybe I'll do a future vlog talking about them and my thoughts on them. And I was able to get this, I mean, this is 4 movies plus a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff for a fairly reasonable price, when I'm sure originally, or even as a collector, it's probably a lot more expensive, than it was when this first came out. I mean, I can only imagine, how much other collection sets, be it for Halloween or name any other big movie franchise, that's out there that has, several really good first run movies, and then everything else just turns to shit after that. But yeah, this is certainly, if you are a movie collector and a movie buff and you're a fan of Alien, this is certainly a pretty cool little collection to have. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me talking about more materialistic stuff. Hope that you guys have enjoyed. See you next time.